Come on, Annie. Let's go to the movies.
This is the Cinereelists, episode 682. My name is Zach.
And my name is James.
And we're here to talk about movies and movie obsession and movie lists for the next hour or so. How's that sound, James?
Sounds amazing.
I know. It's going to be a power hour, if you ask me.
Power 2 hour.
Well, maybe, because we're going to pack in a lot today. We have a lot that we need to cover. But before we do that, let's talk about nonsense for the next 20 minutes. Like we always do.
Right. Okay. What nonsense do you want to talk about?
I was joking, James.
Okay.
I was thinking we'd get right into it, but
you
what
don't have any
nonsense you got
nonsense
today? What nonsense do you have for me?
I honestly, I think, to be honest, I'm fresh out of nonsense.
All right. Well, let's get into it.
I can't think of anything to waste time about.
Well,
other than maybe opining about wasting time.
Let's do it. When I like to waste time. No, okay.
No, honestly, wait.
Yeah.
This is serious.
Okay.
What is your favorite way to waste time, Zach?
My favorite way to waste time. Here's the thing. If you're going to talk about wasting time, I don't know exactly what you mean by that.
What do you mean?
Is this like I'm in line for 20 minutes and I have to like...
No. I'm talking about an activity that you intentionally do that you're pretty sure is a waste of time, but you're going to do it anyway because you like it for one reason or another.
Okay. Maybe the ultimate answer to this, especially as a kid, I don't do it as much anymore, although I do have kids with a lot of toys.
Sure.
As a kid, I would dump out all of my coins and then sort them. Put all the pennies in a pile, all the nickels in a pile.
Sure.
That seems relatively pointless.
And then you would later like mix them all up to go
put
do
them
it
back
again.
in the piggy bank.
Okay, that is a waste of time.
Yeah.
I've never done anything that I don't know what the word
You've
is.
sucked me into your nonsense, James.
I've never done anything that pointless.
You've never done anything that pointless.
I mean, I've never organized something only to intentionally mix it up for the express purposes of putting it back in order.
Once I organized my Blu-rays by the color of the spine.
Sure. But I can see a value in that.
It was beautiful.
And why did you undo that?
I couldn't find anything.
Right. Exactly. But I think there was a point to that, which was you were making art with the spines of your...
I'm an artist, James.
You are 100%.
I'm an artist.
And sometimes art isn't logistically favorable.
Yeah, absolutely, James.
Right. Probably the most pointless thing I do is play mobile phone games. There's one that literally is like a job that I'm playing right now. Like once a day, I log in, I do my 10 minutes. It's the same 10 minutes every day. Nothing is changing. I just number go up. That's it.
It sounds like Duolingo.
It's not Duolingo because that might be valuable in the future. This has no value whatsoever. It's literally doing nothing. It's not hurting me. It's not helping me. It's just nothing.
Sure.
But I do get enjoyment out of it. So I guess that makes it not completely useless.
There's this game I used to play that I got really into. And then I told my college roommate about it and he got really into it to the point where his wife, he couldn't say the name of it in front of his wife. She would get too mad.
Okay.
And both of us were like at times waking up at 3 a.m. to like do an action and then go back to sleep kind of a thing.
Is this like a King's Castle type of, or what do they call them? Like a war simulator game?
Yeah. You had villages and people would send attacking raids. So you had to like have people in
Clash
your
of Clans. That's what I was looking for.
Well, no. This is way before Clash of Clans. It's called Travian. But it's like this big, server world. And
so you were online against other people?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. And we had to destroy them. What are we talking about today, James?
We're talking about a TV show and a movie, which is weird.
And a list.
Yeah.
Yeah. James is anti-TV show on this podcast normally.
And I'm not anti.
Did you hear what I said?
I was anti.
Did you hear what I said?
You said James is anti-TV on this podcast.
And you are.
Normally.
And you are. And do you deny
I'm
it?
not anti.
You are.
No. The problem with TV is none of us watch it at the same pace and end it at the same time. right?
That's not the problem with TV.
How is that not the problem? It's a small miracle that two of us ended a show relatively close to the same time.
That is not the problem. The reason why you're anti-TV on this podcast most of the time is
it's not cinema.
Because you could easily include a TV show or a season of a TV show on a last 10 top 10, but you refuse.
No way.
Exactly. You're anti.
It's a top 10 movie list.
James, hold on.
That's not a movie.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Okay.
Let's just take a second and luxuriate in the fact that I said you were anti and your response was no way, which I would say is a fairly anti-response.
On a list, I am anti. On the podcast, I am not anti.
And I would venture to guess the last 10 top 10 is only a movie list if it's a movie list in your mind. It's called last 10 top 10. It's not called the last 10 top 10 movies.
It's called the last 10 top 10. And there are 50 plus times we've done it without a TV show on it.
Yes, because
so
you're
to
anti.
me, I think it's
anti.
fair to assume we're talking movies.
Because you're anti.
You have never, to my memory, proposed that we include TV on a top 10 last
James,
10.
not only are you wrong,
wrong,
but you're dead wrong.
Why? Have you?
Because I've
TV?
included a TV on the last 10 top 10, and your response was, "It's fine if you do it, but I will never do that."
I totally believe I said that.
But now we are leading off
and
the
also
show with a TV show.
I still agree with that.
But we are leading off the show with a TV show, even though this is a movie podcast, James.
I've talked TV.
It is a
on this.
movie podcast.
I've talked TV on this.
It's true.
On this podcast. I did an entire episode where all we talked about was Mandalorian season 2. You weren't on that episode.
I believe you.
But we released it.
Mm-hmm.
And the TV show we're talking about this week is about movies, so it counts.
Yeah, it's related to movies.
It's about movies.
It's about Hollywood.
What makes it funny is that it's related to movies, in my opinion.
Sure.
I mean, there's other jokes in there too, but it's mostly the movie jokes that hooked me.
For sure.
So we're going to talk The Studio, if you hadn't guessed. And we're also going to talk Fountain of Youth, which is a new movie on Apple TV. This is an Apple TV Plus heavy episode.
It is. Yes.
And then we're going to run down our top 10 adventure films in search of history. But before we do all that,
we have a commercial for Apple TV Plus.
Right. And also to acknowledge that Kyle's not here.
Oh, you're right. Where'd he go?
And that you and I are in the same room.
Yeah.
Which it happened for like 400 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And then it stopped happening because, I don't know, something happened in the world. And we went Zoom and we never looked back.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when Kyle's not here, the
Mice
OGs will play.
Yes. Absolutely.
And so we are in the same room. And we're going to talk about things. We're going to get real serious.
Are you going to cry, James?
I might cry.
Okay.
Talking about the Fountain of Youth really touched me.
It did.
Yeah. It's a very touching movie.
There was a serious moment where he really laid it out there.
Sure. Definitely. No, we need to talk about something very serious. And that's that there's a video version of this podcast on YouTube. Go check it out there.
Prove it.
Search Cinereelists. Well, the easiest way to prove it is to go to YouTube, search Cinereelists, and find us.
James, can I suggest something?
Maybe.
I don't want people to go to YouTube and search Cinereelists and watch our episode.
Okay.
I want people to go to YouTube, search Cinereelists, watch our episode, and leave a comment.
I don't care about that.
I do.
I'd rather they go watch it and then subscribe.
No. I don't even want them to subscribe. I don't care if they subscribe.
I want them
to comment because that's going to help the algorithm more than anything.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's
drop
true.
a little comment.
I mean, I would love a comment, but
you said you don't care about a comment.
I'd prefer a subscribe over a comment.
Okay. Well, we'll let our listeners, we'll have a competition.
Both. Maybe
we'll see how many new subscribes and how many new comments there are. And that will be the vote of if you think James is right or Zach is right.
Right. And if you can't think of anything to comment, subscribe and then type I subscribed in the comment.
They will think of something to comment because we're going to talk about The Studio. We're going
Right.
to talk about The Fountain of Youth. We're going to talk about the top 10 action adventure movies in search of history, which is a sentence that no one has ever thought of before.
You
until
did,
James
because
came up with it.
No. That's what we landed on in our text, and you agreed.
No, you created that Frankenstein of a movie list.
No.
I suggested In Search of movies, like a quest movie.
No, you did not. Don't make me leak these text messages.
You wouldn't dare. You wouldn't dare.
You never said In Search of movies. Here we go. Here we go.
He's looking at him right now where I say In Search of.
Okay, this is me.
Yeah.
Top 10 adventure films based on history? Question mark. Sure. Oh, wait. Or In Search of, in quotes, movies.
James, can we
Top
just pause?
10 adventure
Hold
films
on.
in search of history?
That's
question
what you said.
mark.
That's what you said. Hold on. Can we just pause for a second?
And then you thumbsed up.
James, can we just pause for a second? I literally wrote and you read In Search of movies. And then maybe 30 seconds ago, you said, there's no way that I wrote In Search of movies.
So I'll take that back.
Okay.
You definitely said that. But then I came back to your quote, In Search of, framing it as an actual top 10 list, top 10 adventure films in search of history.
Yeah.
And you thumbsed up it.
I did.
So I took your
So
suggestion.
again, everything I said was true. You created that Frankenstein of a title.
And you approved it.
I approved it because I didn't want to argue with how stupid it was.
Okay. So now I should assume if you approve without pushback, I should assume you're just placating me.
Yeah.
Great. This is a great creative relationship we have.
I approve, James.
Placate me and then razz me while we're recording.
What else?
After you approved it.
What else would we talk about,
All right.
James?
So yeah, there's a video version. That's the long and short of it. There's also a Patreon. Go check that out. Leave us an Apple Podcast review, 5 stars only, or send us an email, heyguys@cinereelists.com. There's links to do any of those things in the description of this episode. Are you ready to jump into the rare TV show discussion, Zach?
I would love to.
All right. We're going to talk The Studio. It's on Apple TV Plus. Here's a clip.
It's 3 words. Thanks, Pat Remick. That's all I want you to put in there.
You don't understand. I have practiced this in the mirror a million times. I can't change it now. It's perfect. I start genuinely shocked, then get very humble, become overwhelmed with gratitude, and start crying. Then I compose myself, give a big thanks to Team Open, and that's it.
This movie would not exist if it wasn't for me. I greenlit it. You and me. We are Team Open.
You can't possibly believe that.
I do!
Oh my God, that is so sad.
Dude, shut the man. I'm out here trying to show Christopher Nolan that I have range, and all I can hear is you whining.
I'm so sorry, Rami, and you are killing it tonight.
That was The Studio, an American satirical cringe comedy TV series.
Is that a genre now? Cringe?
I mean, The Office is a cringe comedy.
Yeah,
TV
I just
show.
didn't know we had named and claimed it.
Yeah. And maybe Parks and Rec has cringe elements, but I think it's more straightforward comedy, Parks and Rec. But it was created by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. It stars Seth Rogen, Catherine O'Hara, Ike Barinholtz, Chase Sue Wonders, and Catherine Hahn, amongst others. The official IMDb plot synopsis for The Studio follows a legacy Hollywood movie studio striving to survive in a world where it is increasingly difficult for art and business to live together. So, Zach, we saw The Studio. It's a show I started watching like a couple weeks ago, and then I think I mentioned on the podcast. Is that why you watched it, or did you read something?
It was
somewhere
already
else?
on my radar.
Okay.
You watched it, recommended it. And if James recommends something, I will watch it immediately.
That's not true.
What are you talking about?
But I'm glad you watched it. Don't make me dig into my text messages. Yeah, so I'm glad you watched it because this is one of those shows where I binge watched the first 4 episodes and then said, okay, I need to stop. I need to
savor.
watch these a little slower because I could easily finish this in one night and it'll blow right by me. And I totally enjoyed the first 4 episodes. So I was like, I need to just take these, during my lunch break or 1 episode a night and enjoy them. And that's what I did. I finished it last night. I'm assuming you finished it sometime this week. And I'm assuming you liked it.
Oh, it's insufferable. No, it's great. It's so great.
It's so good.
It's a lot of fun.
I don't think it's for everybody, but it's for me in
Tailor-made.
so many ways.
Yeah, it's tailor-made for you.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. It's it is a show that is made by people that actually like movies.
Right.
And it rewards people who have a working knowledge of film history and the film industry.
Yeah.
It's the kind of movie where if you work in the film industry, you're going to like more than if you don't.
Yeah. Or if you consider like movie watching and being steeped in a little bit of the politics of modern movie making, you will get more out of it than if you don't have that knowledge.
Like in the episode where a character's trying to get a script made that's a ripoff of Chinatown, they call it a ripoff of Chinatown, and the episode itself is a ripoff of Chinatown.
Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of like meta storytelling in this that I was surprised by and really appreciated. Like Seth Rogen, I enjoy. I like his older movies. There's certainly some that are not the best, but most of them I can see something in, even if they're not my favorite. And I got tired of him, but not because he's doing anything wrong, just because it was the same shtick type of thing. And I think he sensed that too, and the box office sensed that, and he just kind of pulled away from a lot of stuff. And then became a producer, right? He produced The Boys. He produced The Sandman on FX, a couple other things. Just kind of took a backseat for a little while. And then he had another show. I don't remember if it was on Apple TV Plus, but it might have been, where he was an adult in his early 40s. And he rekindled a friendship with a female that he hung out with in college. They were like buddies, basically. And I really liked that show, but it was like kind of a drama comedy type of thing. And I was bummed when they said it wasn't coming back. And then all of a sudden The Studio came out. And I was like, oh, I'd much rather him do this. It's so good.
Yeah.
And you can see like a maturity there that just is not in his earlier work by design. You know, his earlier work is like crass bro humor, I guess.
And he wrote his first script in like high school.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And whereas The Studio is still that, but with this interesting creative method wrapped around it on top of the movie making meta storylines.
Sure. Yeah.
And I don't think they're making really strong, like banger statements with any of the particular episodes, but there is a little bit of commentary, like a little self-flagellation, Hollywood self-flagellation going on in the episodes, which I really enjoyed.
Oh, sure. Totally. And what I really like about it, and you don't get this a lot with shows, especially comedies, although when it does happen, it's really special and it like stands the test of time, is it has a visual style.
Yeah. Yeah.
It has a language to how they communicate the story. And I really can't think of another comedy since The Office that kind of made a style so much their own.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. The Office will start with something that you think is an innocuous part of the storyline. And then by the end of the episode, they'll blow it up into like a much bigger deal comedically, typically, sometimes dramatically, but most of the time comedically. This one does that, but it just does it to 11. It's like they will start with a little tiny conceit, and by the end of it, it's World War III.
Okay, well, I will say that, but that's not actually what I was talking about.
Okay, what are you
I was talking about visual style in the sense of The Office. It kind of started doing this documentary film style for comedy kind of thing, and it's so iconic to The Office. This one with its long takes, like it's filmed primarily in very long takes,
right?
Which creates a rhythm to this show that's very unlike almost any other show.
Yeah, it's closer to Birdman than anything,
and kind of a frenetic energy
Right.
constantly, right?
Yeah. Really long takes and lots of like whip panning the camera to characters when they talk and rapid fire dialogue.
Yeah.
Lots of walking and talking. And sprinkled throughout the episodes, some like pretty imaginative camera work to try to keep the one take going.
Yeah.
I was super impressed. There's an episode where they start it in a car. The camera's clearly mounted to a car and they drive for like 5 minutes or so.
Not that
it
long.
felt really long. I mean, you can actually see them driving down the road and going to their destination. Then when they get to their destination, the camera just kind of lifts off the front of the car and follows them into the house.
And then they end in the car too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in that episode, the whole episode is I don't know. How much do you want to spoil this? Is it spoiler?
No.
It's not really spoiler.
That's
right?
not a spoiler.
Okay. In that episode, it's like episode 3 or 4. The episode is about
A movie filming a oneer.
a movie filming a oneer in a house.
And they have to do it at a magic hour. So they only have like 1 or 2 chances at this.
Right. And Seth Rogen plays the
Studio head.
The studio head. And he really I think he'd rather be a director, to be honest, or a producer. He wants to be on the set of movies and like actually making movies. And instead he's, the button pusher, the bean counter, the whatever. He's the executive.
Yeah.
And so having him on the set is intimidating for everybody who's working on
distraction.
the set. Right. Exactly. And he doesn't see it that way. He's very innocent in the idea, I'm just here to help type of thing. And they're like, well, you're just making everybody nervous. You're not helping. Anyway, but the meta of them shooting a oneer while the characters are shooting a oneer, I found very funny. And then they threw in this other meta where he is giving input on a movie about female empowerment to Sarah Polley, of all people, who just won an Academy Award for women talking. And the idea that like he's constantly mansplaining to her how she should do this.
Yeah.
And she's just trying to play nice with him because he's the studio head.
Yeah. And she wants him to pay for a movie license for,
Right. She's playing politics with him because she wants a specific song that's very expensive. It just was so beautiful.
Yeah.
And like, he's not trying to mansplain to her.
He can't help it.
He can't help it. Right.
And you kind of alluded to this, but the episode is shot as a oneer, like the entire episode. It's actually 4 sections stitched together, but still that's crazy impressive that it's shot in 4 parts.
Yeah.
It's presented as one oneer in an episode that's about filming a oneer. It's incredibly well done and impressive, especially because he's like, he's talked about this, but comedy really depends on editing. Like comedy lives or die by the editing because comedy is about timing, right? And editing is the control of time. So if you're doing it in one continuous shot, it's very hard to get the timing right to make things funny.
Sure.
And so since they're able to be funny, that's even more impressive. I mean, you have shows like Adolescence, right? Which is, they're all oneers and they're true oneers every episode, but that's not a comedy, right? So drama's a little bit easier or just naturally fitted to a oneer. So it's incredibly impressive.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're both difficult in oneer presentation just because you don't have the benefit of, multiple takes and taking the best of them.
For sure.
And I'm not trying to minimize doing a oneer in a drama, but it feels a little easier.
Yeah. Well, just because dramas can live in the long take of a close up, you know what I mean? Like
somebody's face looking forlorn.
Whereas comedy, like sometimes something is half a second too early or too late and it's ruined the funniness of it, So editing really plays a lot into comedy. Another thing that we haven't really talked about, and he's talked about this, I didn't clock it until he mentioned it. But so many shows, every show is like 3 different storylines kind of woven together. And at the end, they all come together and like, butt heads. All of these episodes are about one thing. Like there's not multiple storylines. It's one storyline from start to finish. Like this is the episode where he's filming the one, and it's just that straightforward presentation of like, this is what this episode is about. And there's not all these interwoven stories. It's like, that is the story is really interesting.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I guess there are definitely like season themes though. They might not be like plot
Yeah, I mean, there's like characters that have
Right.
motivations and development.
And they grow over time. Not a lot, but that is not the point of the show, is to have strong character growth for Seth Rogen's character over the course. But he does go from like idealizing the job when he first gets it to realizing at the end that it's not the job he thought it was.
Yeah. Another thing I really enjoy is just watching every time someone knocks into something. Because like every episode, people are just banging into things by accident, and it's great.
Well, because they're by the end of every episode, they're running around like chickens with their heads cut off. Yeah. Like no matter what's going on, they're always scrambling
frantic,
to put out a fire.
Yeah.
And on top of that, the cast on this one, like short of Seth Rogen and Kathryn Hahn, like none of these people, other than the cameos, none of these people really are on my radar or anything like that.
O'Hara.
That's what I said, Catherine O'Hara.
You said Kathryn Hahn.
Oh, sorry, Catherine O'Hara.
And they're both. I mean, both of them are. They're both on the show, and they're both recognizable. Is all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I meant O'Hara though. That's the one that I.
Kathryn Hahn's super recognizable.
Yeah, but I don't care about her.
Oh, you don't care about her?
I mean, not from a acting perspective. I'm a fan of Catherine O'Hara.
Which one are you a fan of? Okay.
I'm a fan of the one that was in
Yeah.
Beetlejuice.
Oh, I don't know anything about that.
You don't know anything about Beetlejuice?
Well, I didn't know Catherine O'Hara's in it. I haven't seen Beetlejuice.
Maybe it's Kathryn Hahn. Maybe I'm getting him confused. But let's click something here.
The one that's in all the Christopher Guest.
Kathryn Hahn is not the person I'm talking about.
Yes.
I'm talking about Catherine O'Hara.
Yes.
These are just people that I brought baggage to the show on. Like I like those people already. Now I love Kathryn Hahn. She was totally unhinged in this. And I was trying to figure out who that was because she was just so opposite of anything I can think of having ever seen her in. And she played kind of the older millennial who's trying to fit in with the younger generation, like to a T. It was like perfect. Just the confident desperation through the entire show made me laugh. The kind of agent guy, the right-hand man agent, who I forget that guy's name.
He's a producer.
Yeah, is that Ike Barinholtz?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I'm sure I've seen him in things, but I
didn't recognize him.
Yeah. So he was in Neighbors, Neighbors 2, Suicide Squad, Blockers, The Hunt, Central Intelligence, The Oath. We've seen a lot of movies with him in it. He's just never the guy.
Yeah.
In this, I was kind of annoyed with him at the beginning. And then like by the second or third episode, I was like, I'm sold on this guy. I understand him now. And then the assistant or the junior executive was probably the thinnest character for me.
Okay.
She didn't have as many punchlines as some of the other ones.
Sure.
I'm trying to think, who am I missing? There's another one in the group. Nope. All right. Something we haven't spoiled, and I don't think we should, is the cameos.
Well, we can say that there's a lot of cameos. We don't have to say who are the cameos.
We can say there's a lot of cameos, and there's a lot of people cameoing that like you just absolutely would not expect to be a cameo in a movie.
They had some good gets.
I'm not even talking about high profile people. I'm talking about people that I had to search to confirm that was actually that person.
Oh, gotcha.
You know what I mean? Because they could have easily said it was that person and I would have never known because they're like so movie nerd, I would say.
Sure.
Like maybe we break out one. Can we break out one just to discuss why?
Like the director, the horror director?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was his name? What was his name? The guy who directed
did Smile?
Yeah, the guy who directed Smile.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm going to look it up because it's worth.
But like no one recognizes him by face.
No, but I recognized his name.
But yet they got him.
Yeah. He was that was not the guy who directed Smile.
Oh, really?
No, wait, the guy who directed Smile came in and then left, right?
Okay.
Do you remember this?
Yeah, vaguely.
Anyway,
I don't know who you're trying to talk about.
Whenever they reference a director and have them come on the show, they actually get that director.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really impressive because some of the directors were like not Steven Spielberg. You know what I mean? Like they were just people that you would only know by name, not even by face, if you were kind of steeped in some of this stuff. And I really loved that touch and the fact that you could tell that some of these directors were lampooning what people think of them.
Totally.
Like the Smile guy, compromising all of his morals to direct a movie that essentially rips off his own movie is like some weird Hollywood meta stuff that I loved.
Yeah.
And there's even better examples of that we're not going to talk about. The other one I want to spoil just because I have to, and maybe you'll tell me to bleep this, but we'll just say this. The younger brother in the final episode,
Sure. Yeah.
was
You don't have
just
to say any more than
was
that.
just off the reserve. I don't know what you would say. Is that racist?
Yeah.
Okay. What's a better term for that? Off the line, off the charts. He was off the charts with his acting. I have never seen anybody act like they're on shrooms funnier than that guy.
Great.
I mean, I watched that episode last night at like 11:30 at night and laughed more at a television show than I have in a long time. I
awesome.
might not remember ever laughing as hard
That's
at
great,
a
right?
television show.
It's really
than
good.
that.
It's really good.
Yeah. It's great. And I was a little afraid that when they split the last two episodes into halves, that it wasn't going to work compared to the other episodes, which, like you said, are self-contained. But since the second half is just that guy mostly just being a wacko, I loved it so much. It was so great. Anything else we need to say about?
I think that's enough, but we both really enjoyed it.
I can't wait for another season. Hopefully it's successful enough that they will do that. I can't imagine it was cheap.
It couldn't have been cheap, but it did get a lot of buzz.
Yeah.
People were talking about it. It'll get some awards, I'm sure.
You think?
Yeah.
Oh, that might be a reason to keep it around.
Plus Apple TV Plus, honestly,
They're a little less brutal.
well, they're a little bit less money focused and more just like, let's make good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like Netflix will be like, it didn't make $1 billion. Let's just delete it.
Who cares if it won?
Yeah.
All kinds of awards.
Yeah.
If people aren't watching it, it doesn't matter to them. Yeah. I think that's true to an extent. Although it feels like they had a lot of money and a lot of energy for like award-winning movies. And then they didn't really win awards with them. And now they've backed off. Like Killers of a Flower Moon was 2 years ago. I can't think of another prestige movie they've had since then. Like, was Power of the Dog between then or around the same time?
Power of the Dog seems like a while ago to me.
Yeah. I think it might have been the year before Killers of the Flower Moon. And I can't think of any prestige movies that have been in the like awards conversation from them. And it felt like year after year they were intentionally putting them in that position, putting themselves in that position. I think maybe they just stopped caring. They're like, let's make what's the one we're going to review with what's her name in it?
Fountain of Youth?
No. Netflix with Charlize Theron in it. She played The Order. No.
Spoiler alert, I did not like the first one, and I do not anticipate liking the second one.
Okay. I was fine with the first one. But Kyle loved it. He loved that movie.
Right.
That's why we're watching it. Because Kyle loved it. Then it's streaming, so we have easy access. Okay. I guess we'll letterbox this, even though TV's not allowed on Letterboxd. What are you going to give the studio?
Studio's great. I'll go 5 out of 5. Why not?
I went 5.
Yeah.
I have no notes other than give me more.
The only note I would say is I watched it with my wife, and there's a lot of language.
The
in
language.
It. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot. And so if you're sensitive to that, like my wife is, it's a barrier.
Yeah. What was your least favorite episode?
I don't know.
Mine was when he went to the doctor's convention.
Okay.
Just because it removed the movie making aspect through most of the episode. And so it was a character episode for him, but and a reminder to me. Sometimes you'll talk to somebody and they'll mention a movie and then you'll start talking about movies and then you'll realize they don't care about movies.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They just saw a movie
Yeah.
and they know I like movies. And so they mentioned it to me and now I've sucked them into a conversation they don't care about, which is always fun.
I get into those conversations a lot with board games where I think like, oh, you like board games? Let's talk about board games. And then, the board games they play are
like Monopoly.
not the board games I play. Yeah.
Yeah. Not that there's anything wrong
I like
with
Monopoly.
You would like Monopoly. I watched a YouTube video where they talked about 10 reasons why there's a board game revival. Like over in the last 20 years, there's been a board game revival. And they basically just use Monopoly as an example on every step of how people took Monopoly and reverse engineered it to remove all the awful parts of Monopoly.
Yeah.
And that's why people like board games again.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. The Studio, double fives, a rarity, plus a TV show, a double rarity. Let's move on to Fountain of Youth. We're going to get into it right after this clip.
You have foolishly overlooked my team of lethal bodyguards. So, either you surrender now, or I will be forced to release my dogs of war.
That was Fountain of Youth, a 2025 American heist action adventure film directed by Guy Ritchie and starring John Krasinski, Natalie Portman, Eiza, E-I-Z-A, Eiza Gonzalez, Domhnall Gleeson, Arian Moayed, Laz Alonso, Carmen Iago, and Stanley Tucci, amongst others. Probably butchered at least two of those. The official IMDb plot synopsis for Fountain of Youth is two estranged siblings join forces to seek the legendary Fountain of Youth. Using historical clues, they embark on an epic quest filled with adventure. If successful, the mythical fountain could grant them immortality. Zach,
That's the plot.
What do you think of Fountain of Youth?
Yeah. So Fountain of Youth, I suggested this one because, it's got John Krasinski, it's got Natalie Portman, it's coming out on streaming. I imagine some people are going to watch it. Should be a nice, entertaining little movie to watch, right?
Fun romp.
A fun romp.
Sure.
And this is my takeaway from Fountain of Youth. Is it a great movie? No, it's not a great movie.
Sure.
Right? Is it a very easy movie to watch? Yeah.
Sure.
Is it entertaining? Sure. So I think this movie is like, it's probably a poor man's National Treasure, but it can be fun to watch as long as you're like, don't care about the specifics of anything.
Things being original.
If you don't care about things being original, if you don't care about dialogue at all, and if you don't care about like pretty hammy action scenes
or logic.
Yeah, or logic. If you don't care about logic, this movie is I would say this is kind of the definition of like mindless entertainment. It's a popcorn film for sure, but it's not offensive. It doesn't make me mad. It was fun to watch. It's not good though, but it was fun to watch.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I didn't not have fun watching it, but I wouldn't say I had more fun than your other average movie.
Here's the thing: a lot of movies, like action adventure ones too, are like they're so set piece oriented with like very elaborate CG kind of set pieces and supernatural elements and that kind of thing. And this one had all of those elements, but like in a much less offensive way, in a much less like just like assaulting way. You know, like so many movies have been more influenced by Transformers than they've been influenced by National Treasure. And this one is much more influenced by National Treasure than Transformers. If I'm making any sense at all.
Do you think they ever went to the pyramids? Or do you think that was entirely created?
I think they thanked Egypt. So I think they went to in the credits, they thanked Egypt. So they went to pyramids.
Most of the exteriors of
all the exteriors. I think they were actually on set in the exterior of the pyramids.
Sure.
All the interiors, absolutely not in the pyramids. Yeah.
No, I understood that. But yeah, I think there was definitely CG in this movie. But I think they limited it enough that I was okay with it. Like when they did it, it made sense.
Yeah.
I think the days of like, you know, claymation style people's faces melting, you know, Indiana Jones style, they're going to do that CG these days. It's just a fact of life.
Oh, totally. But all the exteriors weren't just like glossy, ridiculous CGI, you know, with like, you know, weird pans and stuff like that. It just felt a little bit more grounded, you know, and it really is like, now we need to go steal this. Now we need to go find this. Like there was these signposts of like steps along the way towards the end goal kind of a thing, which is just a fun old school way to have a movie.
Sure. Yeah. And I was okay with all of that. Didn't really have any problem with the action or even like the plot, even if it was borrowing generously from movies that came before it. I was okay with that because it's a movie that's like intentionally a formula. I think my biggest issue is that I just didn't find any of the characters specifically interesting. Yeah. And so like your main guy, John Krasinski, played by John Krasinski, he just felt, I don't know, like ChatGPT wrote his lines. You know what I mean? It felt so boxed into trying to kind of be the smarmy,
the Ryan Reynolds type of character.
Yeah.
While still being like trying to be a little bit of a heartthrob. There's this one scene towards the end where he has his shirt like half untucked.
Yeah.
And you know, like it's an intentional decision, right? To have his shirt half untucked.
I totally noticed that too.
Yeah,
it was so annoying. Yeah, I was like, why are you doing
right.
that?
Because it's an intentional decision, but it didn't work. Like it wasn't like in an Indiana Jones way where like it makes him look cooler. It was just in a like his shirt's untucked and that's strange, you know?
Yeah, especially since through most of the rest of the movie, I mean, he wasn't dressed in a tuxedo, but he looked like somebody who could dress himself.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny that you noticed that too.
Totally. I was like, why is he? Because it's only like one. Yeah. It's a button down and only one side was untucked.
It was going for like an Indiana Jones kind of like, you know, rough and tumble kind of thing.
Yeah. I don't know.
The dialogue was really stilted and bad. There was this conversation in the museum between the like inspector and Natalie Portman. And that scene should be studied by like how crazy the dialogue is. And I don't know why these actors agreed to say it and not like change it. Like it's wild. Some of the dialogue is so stilted and like that is not how people talk to each other.
Sure. Well, maybe the director was like, stick to the script.
Guy Ritchie.
Didn't let them. Yeah. Although I never heard that about Guy Ritchie. Yeah. So
no, but it was fine. It just added to the silliness of the movie, I thought.
Sure.
Do you remember the chase scene that starts the movie where he's in the moped?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. A moped chase is just not as exciting, right?
As what?
As like any other type of chase.
I mean, that's kind of the point, is like you're in tight.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. He wasn't super, like they had surrounded him and his way of escaping was to slam on his brakes. And just two things. One, a moped slamming on his brakes is not the most exciting event or hard to deal with. Second, there was a guy right behind him, but they just like deleted him so that he could slam on his brakes. But like maybe 4 seconds before they show a shot, and this guy is like on his tail, maybe a foot behind him. It's just so, but it doesn't matter. It's just silliness.
Right. Yeah.
He looked kind of dopey with his little helmet and his moped.
I think that was intentional though.
Yeah.
Like I think they tried to make him like charmingly goofy. And instead it came off as I don't know, ham-fisted goofy.
Sure, yeah.
The other thing that kind of blew my mind was watching Natalie Portman again for the first time in quite a while. I can't think of what was the last thing we saw Natalie Portman in. Have we ever talked about a Natalie Portman movie on this podcast?
For sure. She was in that movie with the other woman who was like a teacher.
Oh, it was like a trashy
something like that.
Yeah, tabloid
yeah.
type story. Yeah, she was good in that. So yeah, so I've seen good things recently with her in it. Certainly back in the day, I saw good things. But there were times when I was watching this where I was just like, man, Natalie Portman was so good in Black Swan. And this is so bad. You know what I mean? Like from an acting perspective, comparatively. And maybe it's the lines or the direction. I'm not saying she's a bad actress. Clearly, I've seen her be a great actress and things. But this was just not what I ever want from Natalie Portman.
How about that Stanley Tucci cameo? Like this movie
he's barely in it.
No right to say Stanley Tucci's in this movie.
I mean, he's in the movie.
Yeah, but it's like one scene. It absolutely does not have to be Stanley Tucci. It adds nothing to the movie whatsoever.
Well, it added a name to the poster.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And you know, they're
Domhnall Gleeson too. Like for the wave he was riding just a few short years ago, his role in this is like very, I'm out of work and I need to take a role for money.
I appreciated him in this movie.
Why? Because he was barely in it until the very end.
I liked his accent.
You liked his accent?
Yeah. This movie was very silly.
Yeah. Yeah. And none of it was like silly enough to be offensively silly or stupid or anything like that. It just like we're certainly going to talk other adventure movies, but you can't help but like do a Indiana Jones comparison. And the most Indiana Jones movies have silliness in them. They even have like supernatural things. They brush real history to kind of legitimize it. And even when things that are heightened are happening, you buy into the idea that Indiana Jones is in real danger. And that helps raise the stakes as an audience member. And there is just never a single second in this movie where I felt any concern that somebody was going to not make it. I never once got tense about anybody. I mean, the Indiana Jones movies have the benefit of I watched them as a child, most of them. And so I probably attached some of those feelings to them. Maybe if I had seen this when I was 7, I would attach, feelings of anxiety to them like I do with not strong anxiety, but you know what I mean, healthy anxiety. But there's just nothing here.
When they were on the boat, they were taking their sweet time. They were just like
I don't even
lounging.
remember them being on a boat.
Oh, come on, James.
I watched this 2 nights ago. I don't remember a boat.
James,
refresh my memory.
Where did they find the painting? In a safe. Remember they found a painting in a safe?
Yeah. It was on a boat?
Yeah. Remember they floated a boat from the ocean?
Right. The sunken boat.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
But they were just like casually walking around there.
Sure. Having like long expositional dialogue.
Remember how they had opened the waterproof safe and inside were tons of jewels, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he went to take them and she's like, we're not grave robbers.
Right.
So instead they're just going to let it sink back into the ocean?
Right.
Like now that they've opened it, like
they're going to take a priceless painting and then let the rest of it sink back in.
For no reason.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of dumb stuff in it. But again, nothing that like nobody's going to watch this and be upset about it.
It wasn't upsetting. I get upset by like dumbness sometimes in movies, but for whatever reason, this wasn't upsetting. It was just, okay, this is silly. I'm fine with silly. This will just be a romp.
But it wasn't good silly either.
It wasn't great silly.
It was perfectly passable silly. And that's the best I can say about it.
How intentional was it that way? Or how accidental was it?
Oh, I think they were trying to make an exciting adventure film.
Well, then in that sense, it was a failure.
Right.
Yeah.
And they got like an inoffensive adventure film. And I'm not saying you have to offend me. You just have to give it some more magic.
Yeah, here's
than what we got.
I think its closest kin is National Treasure.
Mm-hmm.
And that one, it didn't have, I mean, it wasn't serious in any way. I don't need dark at all.
Mm-hmm.
Like there doesn't have to be dark.
It can be dark though.
Yeah, but there doesn't have to be. Like National Treasure doesn't have dark. Some of these do. I'm just saying it doesn't have to have that in order to like do what we're saying.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a certain level of everyone is taking what they're doing seriously. That is usually a part of these movies.
Sure.
When this one, no one's really that serious about what's happening, right? Because it's all going to work out in the end. So
I mean, maybe that's the difference between Harrison Ford and John Krasinski. Like their characters in the movies is, even though Indiana Jones cracks jokes, he is serious about what he's doing.
Right.
In this movie, I think they were saying John Krasinski was serious, but every one of his actions and all the dialogue was played like he wasn't being serious about it.
Yeah.
And so that was one of the many things that kept it from elevating above probably what it was on the page.
Sure. Now, it's very much left at the end. Like this is the first in 9 of the franchise.
Right.
Do you think we'll see more of these?
I mean, I guess it depends on how many people watch it, right?
Yeah.
I imagine they paid a decent, I mean, the budget according to Wikipedia is 180 million on this, which is just absolutely insane.
One thing I did appreciate is I feel like they actually did fly around the world several times, right? Like they shot on location several times.
Yeah.
And it's just fun to see. I mean, yeah, that's fun to see.
Yeah. I mean, they could have easily not gone to the pyramids and had limited shots of it and made it all CGI and probably would have been the same movie.
Right.
But it was cool that.
Yeah. And they were in Thailand.
Very real.
They were clearly in Thailand. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
I definitely need my movies to be globetrotting. If you're going to make this movie, it has to be globetrotting.
Sure. Tangent. Are you watching Andor?
No.
So did you watch season 1?
No.
Okay. You should. When you get to it. Best Star Wars. Certainly the best Star Wars TV show that's ever existed.
Are you allowed to talk about it on this podcast?
I don't know. I'm gonna.
It's a TV show.
Best Star Wars TV show, and better than most of the recent movies, I would say for sure. But what's most impressive about that is I don't know what was a set and what wasn't, and it feels like all of it's a set.
Cool, because they're using volume.
I don't know. Like if they are using volume, they're using it in a very different way, or they came up with a new method with the volume or something to make things feel even more real than they already did. Like the Mandalorian stuff is mostly in deserts and like desert towns. And you watch it long enough and you understand that like they never put anything in the plot that requires them to move from one spot to another because that is hard to do in the volume. Whereas this, they are walking and talking in legitimate sets. There's no way they didn't build some of these things.
Can I suggest something to Disney?
Mm-hmm.
I think they've been very foolish
with Star Wars.
Okay, and here's why.
This is exactly what we need. One more person on YouTube complaining about Star Wars Disney.
No, I have no complaints.
They never get criticized, so I'm all for it.
This is not at all a criticism about the films or TVs that they're making.
Oh, okay.
It's not at all.
Interesting.
Star Wars fans will empty their life savings and throw it at Disney in any chance to visit a Star Wars themed anything.
Sure.
When they make these TV shows, instead of doing it on a Hollywood set somewhere, just every film set, plan on turning it into a theme park. Like build it in a location where you will then build a theme park around it and people will go. So wherever Andor was filmed, when it's done, just add the parking lots and the queues, and people will pay.
Sure.
You've already built the sets that people want to visit.
I'm curious if we'll get back to what we're supposed to be talking about, but if in Andor, some of the sets, the indoor, I think most of it was soundstage type stuff or volume. But the outdoor stuff, I think maybe they like found interesting buildings in other countries.
Okay.
And then like pretend that it's a Star
Sure.
Wars building. That's the only way I could see them doing it, because these things are so huge that I don't know how else they would do it.
That makes sense.
Anyway, great show.
Fountain of Youth.
Fountain of Youth. Do we have anything else to say about it? The ending was, I mean, let's be clear, a total ripoff of another movie. Right? I mean, like, almost exactly.
Totally. Absolutely.
Like almost to the point where I was like kind of ashamed for them while I was watching it. I was like, wow, they are really doing this.
No, here's what it is, James. Here's what it is.
There are formulas and there are almost carbon copies of things.
What it did, and this is going to make everyone feel bad. It took a movie that is 40 years old.
Sure.
And used the formula for people that have never seen it. Because the audience of this movie has never seen that movie.
No way. You think?
Yes.
You think that movie?
You have a son who's like 25 or whatever. So
he's seen all of them.
Yes.
I made sure of that.
You made sure of that. But how many of his friends or people that are 5 years younger than them
have seen those?
Have not seen a lot of movies that would be shocking to someone our age.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying. I just feel like if you've seen any movies, that's one of the ones you've seen.
I don't know.
If you've seen any movies.
If you've seen any movies and you're talking about 40-year-old movies, they're seeing like Home Alone.
Over
or
what
Princess
we're talking
Bride.
about?
Yeah, I think
don't know. I mean, I agree. Those are one of those movies too. Where
I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to dig my feet into this one, but I'm just I
think there's like 50 movies that stand the test of time, and if you're a young person, there's a better chance you've seen those 50 over every other movie ever made.
Yeah.
And I'm not even talking about like The Godfather. I think young people don't come to The Godfather. You watch that when you're older.
There's for sure. There's tons of people in their 30s who have not seen The Matrix.
Sure. Even though they probably know everything about it if they're online.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. So yeah, they're repackaging a 40-year-old movie, James.
I don't know if son Zach has seen The Matrix. That is not one I made him watch.
Sure.
By the time he was like old enough to watch that movie, he was old enough for me not to make him watch movies.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
I don't think I've ever made him watch a rated R movie.
Yeah.
Because by the time he could watch rated R movies, I was like not in that business anymore.
Yeah.
Of film educating him.
All right. What are you letterboxing Fountain of Youth?
Part
1.
In my notes gave it a 3. I feel like it's probably closer to a 2.5, like just a completely average movie that had nothing more for me than the average action adventure in search of a historical item. in search of history. But I'm going to stick with the 3 for now.
I'll go 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
2, we were very aligned in this. I wonder if our list will be exactly the same order, same everything.
Yeah, I assume it will.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to our list. Speaking of, this is our top 10 adventure films in search of history. I had a hard time making this list. I almost backed out of doing a list on this episode for the first time ever.
What helped me is my loose allegiance to the list.
Yeah, that's basically what I did. Yeah. There could be lots of arguments for things that I put on my list not being on there. And I mean, let's have that argument. I'm down. I love arguing.
Bring it. I'll start my number 10.
The
Lost City of Z.
Okay. tell me about it, and then I'll tell you what I think of that movie.
Okay.
I don't want to steal your thunder.
Written and directed by James Gray. This is a true story of an explorer who got lost in the Amazon or something, basically searching for this lost city of Z. And I like this movie. I thought it was Robert Pattinson's in it, Tom Holland's in it, and it's like I don't know, epic adventure with jungle adventure, with rafts and the Amazon and forests, and I liked it. I enjoyed myself. What did you think of Lost City of Z?
I didn't finish it.
Okay. That's pretty rare for you.
I don't remember much about it. When my brother-in-law was like nearing the end of his life, the last movie I watched with him was Lost City of Z, and we got interrupted by a medical thing happening to him. And I just can't bring myself to finish it.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
But yeah, and I don't really even remember what I saw. But I'll probably never finish it.
Okay, fair enough.
But I'm glad you liked it. And I like Charlie Hunnam. He's good. He was great in Papillon, the Papillon remake.
Yeah, I liked Papillon.
Did you see the remake or the original?
The original.
I've seen both.
Wow.
The remake is better, in my opinion, which is probably a hot take for most people.
That is a hot take.
Like it, it's modern filmmaking. My own bias for modern filmmaking, I would say. My number 10, National Treasure. We talked about it a little bit on this episode. Only seen it once. Don't really remember much about it.
Okay, fair enough.
Hey, do you experience National Treasure often?
I've seen it 3 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Generally more than I have. I want to rewatch it. I have it on Blu-ray. And maybe I will.
Maybe you will. My number 9 is Time Bandits.
Okay.
Time Bandits. This is the Terry Gilliam film about time traveling
bandits.
Yeah. And they're jumping time to time looking for treasure to steal.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it fits our definition. We've got John Cleese as Robin Hood, so that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
Sean Connery as a king. Shelley Duvall's in it. It's pretty wacky and dark at some times, and it's in general just kind of like a fever dream of a movie.
Sure.
But for that reason, and because it's Terry Gilliam, it's super unique, and there's nothing else like it. And yeah, you've either seen Time Bandits or you haven't.
Nice. I have seen it. I didn't consider it for this list, but I'm not against it. I just didn't think of it.
The genres are dark fantasy, epic fantasy, farce, globe-trotting adventure, quest.
Sure. Like I said, I'm not against it. I just didn't even consider it. All right, my number 9, Da Vinci Code.
Sure.
2006.
I just didn't like that movie, so I didn't consider it for my list for that reason.
Fair enough. I mean, it's number 9 on a list that I would say has some bangers and some filler. This is maybe one of the filler ones. It's not that I didn't like Da Vinci Code. It's more that I didn't like Tom Hanks as Robert Langdon, which I think is a common gripe with these movies.
What bothered me was just the long hair.
Sure. I don't see Tom Hanks as a Robert Langdon. I don't know who is a Robert Langdon. I just know after seeing Tom Hanks's version of the character, I just never bought it. And that's why Da Vinci Code isn't higher on my list or higher in my personal regard in general than what
Sam Neill
currently sits.
Should have played that role.
Sam Neill. Yeah, I could see that. I'd have to see the end result. They should just remake Da Vinci Code with different actors for me, and then I'll pick the right one.
James, in 10 years, you'll be able to do that. No problem.
I know,
no problem.
I saw a video this week that was like maybe a minute and a half long. It was about like guys in an Iraq like setting it was like warfare, but completely AI generated. The music, the dialogue, the visuals, everything AI generated. And you could tell it was a little floaty. The lips didn't match perfectly with the voices. And the dialogue was, Fountain of Youth bad. But man, it was so close. It was so close.
Yeah. And that's
that it was scary.
And think of what it was a year ago.
Yeah. I mean, it was so close.
Yeah.
I think probably what's going to hold us back right now is like the computing power you have to generate that will keep it out of your grandma and grandpa's hands.
Sure. That makes sense.
But like bad actors will find the resources to do it.
Well, have you heard of Stargate?
The movie?
No. So Sam Altman, who is head of OpenAI,
he
just made a deal with the UAE to build Stargate, which is basically 5 nuclear power plants.
Sure.
That will specifically like feed energy to a server farm.
Right. I was talking to my mom of all people about this, and she was expressing that her worst fear about it is that people will, use it in like propagandist type of ways. Have Obama say something, or
that's
have
her
Trump
worst
say
fear.
Something. Right. And I was like,
it could be so much.
I was like,
that
is not my worst fear. And she's like, what's your worst fear? And I was like, my worst fear is it will be so good that the entire human race will decide they prefer to live in something that's not reality. And we will just stop communicating with each other and live in our own little headsets. And she's like, yeah, that's worse. Yeah, to me, that's where we're headed.
Yeah.
Maybe not in my lifetime, but I can see a world where that's a possibility.
Maybe in your lifetime. James.
Yeah, maybe even in my lifetime. We'll see.
All right, my number 8.
Yep.
The Extraordinary Adventures of Adele Blonsek.
Okay.
Which is a movie we talked about on this show. It's a Luc Besson movie.
Sure.
And this is absolutely a hidden treasure, like a hidden gem of a movie. It's French. It's very much a la Indiana Jones or The Mummy, that kind of film, with a female lead. And it's great. It's a lot of fun. She encounters like dinosaurs, I think, and goes to the pyramids, and it's very much like this kind of movie. And it's really well shot, well acted, a lot of fun. It's great.
Sure. Yeah, I was kind of bummed they never made a sequel to that, because
I'm surprised they didn't.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised they didn't. Nobody's ever heard of that movie other than us.
Yeah.
And somebody recommended
my
that
brother,
to us, right? Yeah. Was that a John or a Matt?
A John.
Nice. My number 8. You could argue this one. Jumanji, 1995. I don't know if they're in search of of history, but they definitely like go through different environments and time.
Which
is there a time
Jumanji
travel
is this?
element? The original.
The original Jumanji.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean,
it's a board game about.
Yes. I mean, for the most part, history comes to them.
Right.
But it's fine. You can.
But it's an action adventure movie that has history related to it.
Sure.
Not strongly.
Yeah. I'm going to allow it because of some of the things I'm going to have. So.
Okay. Fair enough. Also, I miss Robin Williams.
He's great.
Not that we have to talk about suicide, but it sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
That he's not around.
Yeah.
Because he could be.
For sure.
In theory.
We just got demonetized. Thanks, James. I'm just kidding.
We're not
videos are monetized.
Anyway.
All right. My number, what are we on here? What's the deal here? 7?
Yes.
Tomb Raider.
The original?
The original.
Well, that one's not called Tomb Raider.
Laura Croft's.
Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider.
The recent one with, what's her name? That one's called Tomb Raider.
Yeah. I liked that movie. I played Tomb Raider on my Sega Saturn.
Really?
Yeah.
On your Saturn?
Yeah.
That is weird.
Is that weird?
Yeah.
Would you refuse? You'd be like, I have a Sega Saturn, I have Tomb Raider, I'm not putting it in.
No, don't know anybody who experienced Tomb Raider on their Saturn. I'm not saying certainly more people than you did, but most people played it on PlayStation.
Yeah. Most people were not lucky enough to have a Sega Saturn.
I guess. I guess you could say that.
And also, I would imagine the experience is very similar.
Definitely. I just wasn't, of all the things I could have predicted you saying tonight, I played Tomb Raider on my Sega Saturn. Was just not on the bingo board.
Yeah.
I didn't even know Tomb Raider came out on Sega Saturn, to be honest.
After I had Atari, Nintendo, Genesis, and Super Nintendo. After that, I never got a PlayStation or Sony anything. I got a Saturn and then a Dreamcast.
So you were a Sega person.
No, I've always considered myself a Nintendo person.
But
I didn't get the
have
GameCube.
Nintendos.
I didn't get Nintendo 64.
So you're not a Nintendo person.
No. I'm a Nintendo person, James. I own a Wii U upstairs.
But
That's
my
latest system is a Wii U.
I'm just saying you never.
Well, here's the thing. I had Nintendo 64,
Sure.
okay? And then they were just expensive and I couldn't afford the GameCube or the
They were no more expensive than the systems you ended up getting.
I bought them secondhand from a classmate. So that's why they were
Okay.
cheaper. Yeah.
All right. So it was what was available to you.
It was what was available to me.
Gotcha.
But it turns out the Dreamcast was a super fun. It just
Dreamcast was awesome.
yeah, it just didn't catch on in whatever, but like it was pretty advanced. And I had a friend who had PlayStation, so I'd go to his house to play PlayStation.
I mean, by that point, Sega had already lost the battle. Before the Dreamcast was released, they were already going to lose.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Like Sony had absolutely wiped the floor with them. And Nintendo had the kids market. And that was how it was split.
Yeah.
Xbox gave some competition when they had exclusives, but the moment they lost all their exclusives, they were out too.
Is Xbox? I thought they're still competing with PlayStation. They're not?
Xbox has a system out, but they are rapidly moving all game development and purchases to PC.
Oh, okay. So PS5 won.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They're like Microsoft hasn't announced it, but their rumors are that they are not developing another Xbox.
Oh man, that's a bad thing for gamers, right?
No,
Because
most of the games that you would play on a PS5 or an Xbox Series X, I think is the last one. They're available on Steam. You can get them on a computer.
what I'm saying is like there was kind of an arms race between Xbox
Mhm.
and PlayStation, and now there's not. So like, why does PS6 doesn't have to be that much better than PS5, right?
No, that's part of the problem. Is there's it's like a 4K 1080p argument, right? Most people will look at a 1080p video signal and then they'll look at a 4K one and they'll be like, yeah, it's better, but it's not that much better. I'm not running out to buy a new TV for that. That's people's argument between the PS4 and the PS5. It's like, it's better, yes, but not like $600 better, which
Sure.
is the ask for a PS5.
Sure.
And so, yeah. So I think they're just getting to where the consoles themselves are the same as like a lower end gaming computer, and a lower end gaming computer plays way more than what the titles you're limited to on a home system. So I think we're slowly moving to like no more systems. Now, Nintendo's playing its own game. I think Nintendo will have consoles, even if they're like Switches, which are like half mobile, half normal consoles, for as long as they can get away with it, because they want to control that.
Well, they
that
were
software
smart to
money.
control the IP.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, because they would be 100% out of business right now if they licensed their Nintendo properties to the other things, because the hardware for them doesn't matter other than to play their games. Anyway,
Number 6.
what was the point of this? Okay, number 6.
No,
I never saw
You're
said my number
You're
7.
number 7.
Number 7, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade from 1989. Good Indiana Jones movie. I enjoy it. It's my 3rd favorite Indiana Jones movie, 4th favorite Indiana Jones movie. But not by much. 3 and 4 is pretty close. And I know you enjoy this. A lot of people, this is their favorite or close to it. And it's fine. I don't buy into like the father-son thing. And that's a big part of the movie.
It is.
And so since I don't really care about that relationship, there's not a lot left other than adventure. And the adventure in it is good. That's why I still count it as a fun watch for me.
It's kind of a rip-off of Fountain of Youth, though, if you ask me.
Really is.
My number 6 is National Treasure 2, Book of Secrets.
Okay. A movie I've also seen and remember even less about.
Sure. This has Nicolas Cage trying to clear the name of someone was associated with the assassination of Abraham Lincoln or something.
Really? That's the plot?
Yeah.
I gotta go see this movie.
Oh yeah. Walk, don't run. But it very much carries on the formula of National Treasure.
Sure.
And it's good. I mean, I don't like Nicolas Cage, but he's made for
Nicolas
this kind
Cage?
of Nicolas Cage, but he's made for movies like this.
Okay. Weird that he's only made 2, and those are the movies he's made for.
Yeah.
I don't think he's made for those movies. I think he's fine in them. He can play anything he wants. But for me, he's made for Pig and Adaptation. You know what I mean? Some of his weirder movies. Those are the ones that I like, that I've latched onto with him. He's also good in some of the action movies in the 90s that he was in. And National Treasure. I was fine with it. Number 6, the aforementioned Lara Croft, is how you say it, Tomb Raider. In 2001. This is the, what's her name? You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do.
She's got like 8 children.
I want to know if you know what
she's got like 8 children. She was in Hackers. I'm going to have to pull it up. And other things. What is her name? Angelina Jolie. That's her name. John Voight.
Do you like the remake of
Daniel Craig was in Lara Croft Tomb Raider.
Okay.
That was way before he was like a famous dude.
Do you like the remake of Tomb Raider?
I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was great, but if they had made more, I thought they could get to the point where they were, noteworthy.
I don't feel like I've seen Alicia Vikander lately.
She's in something recent that
I know there's a TV show.
That might be what I'm thinking of. That I was like, oh, I haven't seen her in a while, but I am into the idea of watching this, even though I did not watch this. And what's the name of that thing? The Assessment. Somebody
she's in
somebody
The
on
Assessment?
Discord recommended The Assessment, and that's what I saw her in.
I started it, but I had to stop it, and I just haven't had a chance to revisit it yet. But it looks good.
You started The Assessment?
Yeah.
Your assessment of The Assessment is it looks good?
It looks good. First 10 minutes, intriguing.
First 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm into it. Whenever we want to talk about The Assessment, I'm down.
Okay.
It's got an 82% on Rotten Tomatoes. Not bad.
Okay. My number 5, The Goonies.
Okay.
The Goonies. In Search of Pirate Treasure.
Sure.
Classic.
That one could be argued.
Well, why? They're in search of history.
They're in search of a history, not a real history.
That's true.
I mean,
in that universe.
In Jumanji, it was a real history, even though like they weren't really.
No, it wasn't. There wasn't an
history.
Actual guy who owned a factory that got in the past.
I'm not saying every beat of it is real history.
What was a real history?
It's been a long time since I've seen Jumanji.
Yeah, no.
I couldn't argue the details of them right now, but
Sure.
I will if you want to schedule an appointment.
No, but in the universe of the film, like none of the history in Fountain of Youth is, I mean, it's all, the things they say about these things are ridiculous.
Sure. Yeah. And some of the machines, I was like, wow. When they, not to go back to Fountain of Youth, but when they go to that wall that's like building the stairs, I was like, what a giant waste of time the Egyptians performed on this staircase.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What was the point of like having, high school gymnasium style,
Yeah.
all the stairs, accordion out?
It was great.
It's just like,
Very
what is
impressive,
this?
James.
Not only that, but they have this whole sequence. Then they revisit it, on the way out when they're running out, and like they didn't really capitalize on the idea that somebody might be pushed off the edge. And I was like, what was the point of all that? I don't know. It was dumb.
Cool visual.
Who went last? Me or you?
What's your number 5?
My number 5 is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, the more recent one.
Sure.
I enjoyed it. I found was she a daughter or just like a former intern type thing? I don't remember. I need to rewatch
Also
that
don't
movie.
remember.
Yeah. But I enjoyed the interplay between him and the younger archaeologist type adventurer, played by the Fleabag actress that I'm drawing a blank on. And I thought, even though the ending got pushed the edges of the fantastic that Indiana Jones is occasionally known for, I thought it was right to the edge, just enough for me. And I also liked that it wrapped up the Indiana Jones as a character storyline in a way that like wasn't perfect, but was satisfying enough that I was okay with it.
My number 4 is National Treasure.
Nice. My number 4, The Mummy from 1999. This one is a guilty pleasure for me. I don't necessarily think it's a particularly good movie. I think it's a fun movie. It's a fun, stupid movie. Has really bad CGI from the 90s that is fun to watch even today. Back then, I thought it was like the most technologically advanced thing that's ever been put to film. And that was in the year that Phantom Menace came out. And Phantom Menace holds up way better in the graphics department. But just a fun adventure movie with 2 actors that I feel these movies are at their best when they kind of have 2 characters that have a chemistry that's believable and fun to participate in. And I feel like The Mummy, even though the movie itself, not that great, the graphics, not that great, you got Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz, right?
Yeah.
Those 2 people on screen together, I just bought it. I liked them together and the chemistry was perfect. And so it floated the rest of the movie for me and makes it worthy of rewatching and like existing in my brain longer than just one watch. So my number 4, The Mummy.
Cool. My number 3 is Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Nice. It's a good one.
It's a good one. Your favorite Indy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. My number 3, Raiders of the Lost Ark from 1981.
Oh, that's my number 2.
Nice. Do we have anything to say about my number 2 is Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, so we just flip-flopped them.
Yeah. Well, they're fantastic. I mean,
yeah,
we don't need to say anything.
They are top tier Indiana Jones.
They are,
although you have one
action
tier
adventure.
higher.
Yeah, I do. They are action adventure to the T.
Yeah.
What's your number 2?
My number 2 is Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Right. My number 1, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. My favorite Indiana Jones film.
Okay. I knew that and I accept it.
Okay.
My number 1, The Goonies.
Yeah.
Even though it can be argued, there's really no history in The Goonies.
We had a
but I'm
very
fine with it.
we had a very similar top 5 just in random order.
Really? You didn't have The Mummy in yours though.
No. I had
Not
National
in your
Treasure.
list at all.
I don't like The Mummy,
Really?
but I'm willing to revisit it and change my opinion.
Have you only seen it once?
Yes.
Well, that's the problem. You got to watch it once a day for 30 days straight. And then you will like The Mummy.
Or dislike you.
That could be. You know what? I thought I would never do this, but I would love to do this. Watch a movie, the same movie once a day for 30 days straight. And I don't know, release a podcast, release a video every day.
Gotcha.
About how your perception of that thing changes, good or bad.
There is a podcast that did it with some like silly rom-com or something. They did exactly
Really?
what you're talking about.
Okay.
But what the idea I like a little bit better than that is the podcast that take a movie and they go like minute by minute and they'll do a whole episode on like
Sure.
20 seconds of the movie and they go in chronological order and just these micro bites. They dive deep and talk for 2 hours on like 30 seconds.
I know they did that with Star Wars. I haven't heard of people doing it with other ones, but I'm sure they have. I don't know.
That idea intrigues me a little bit more.
To me, I'm not against that. I just think it's a totally different concept.
Yeah.
With mine, it would be more so like, I think there's certain movies that you see as a kid, or at least we saw as a kid. I think it's less now just because there's more options for young people to watch whatever they want, whenever they want. But when we were growing up, you had a limited library. It was what was available to you, or if you could get to the video store. If you weren't getting to the video store, you were watching Ace Ventura again, type of thing. And so I don't know if those movies are actually good. I know I like them, but also I've seen them a million times.
Sure.
And maybe it's the familiarity that I like more than the movie itself. And so I wonder if I was to take a new thing and force myself to live in it over and over and over again, if I would attach myself in the same way as I did when I was younger.
Do it, man.
I mean,
there's no time like the present.
The investment is 2 hours a day to watch the thing, and then at least another half an hour to create whatever I'm going to create around it.
Yeah.
That's a lot of time.
Yeah, but to create something amazing.
Would it be amazing,
No.
or would it be?
It would not be amazing.
A bunch of episodes where you're not really talking about the thing.
Yeah.
I guess it's one of those things where it could be amazing. You just won't know until you do it. If I was to do it, what should I do it on? What movie?
I think it makes sense. It has to be a movie that you have a personal relationship with.
Oh, really? I was going to do one on that I've never seen before.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've never seen before, but I've been told I will like. And then through repeat viewings, will I like this irrationally as I like some of the things from my childhood?
Oh, man. If you go that route, I think the 5th time you watch it, you'll be so annoyed.
Really?
Because it was a movie that you didn't fall in love with. It was a movie that was chosen for you. And you'll watch the first time, you're like, yeah, okay, I kind of like that. They're right. You watch it the 5th time, and you're like, okay, I'm done with this movie.
Right. What's a movie that
there are plenty of movies I could watch over and over
again? What's a movie that is known for when people see it the first time, a lot of people don't like it, but if you watch it multiple times, you get a lot out of it, and people fall in love with it after watching it a couple
Zoolander?
times. Yeah. I'm thinking mostly comedies too. But I feel like literally watching Zoolander 30 days in a row would do nothing for Zoolander. I feel like watching comedies alone in your 40s is not what those movies were designed for.
Comedies live and die by like quoting them with your friends.
Right. So I'm not sure this experiment is fair to a comedy.
Right.
But I could see watching Pulp Fiction for 30 days straight and falling more in love with that movie on the 30th time.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there are movies out there that are not necessarily straight comedies that I think
do it.
Multiple watches.
Do it. All right, let's land this plane, James.
Oh, right. We finished the list. This is just the post list chat. Thank you for listening to this episode 682 of the Cinereelists. We appreciate your listenership. Just 18 episodes away from our top 700.
Never been done before on a podcast, by the way. In the history of the world,
I mean,
in all of the podcasts that have ever existed, no one has ever counted down their top 700 films.
I'm pretty sure we're just lapping ourselves on this record because I'm pretty sure nobody has done their top 600.
Agreed.
Maybe there might be another podcast that did a top 500.
It's possible.
I just don't know about it.
It's possible, but no one has ever done their top 700.
I am not going to say for sure that's true.
On a podcast.
But it's likely.
No, I'm positive.
You're positive?
Yeah.
What are you going to give me if I find somebody who's done it?
It's going to be good.
Okay, you're going to give me something.
Yeah, it's going to be something good.
Great. I can't wait. Oh, that reminds me. I need to give you something. Don't let me forget to give you something. It's good. It's great. it's in my it's in that bag. Don't let me forget.
Okay.
So check out the video version of this podcast on YouTube. Support us on Patreon, leave us an Apple Podcast review, or send us an email. Links are in the description to any and all of those things. You could also follow us on social media on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok at Cinereelists, or follow me on my personal Blue Sky or Letterboxd account at YoJRB.
You can find me at Twitter or Letterboxd at Shaubin.
Right. We will be back next week with Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. So if you haven't seen that yet, that's your homework. Check it out. We're talking about it next week. And we'll see you guys there. Until then, keep it cinereal.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.